Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
Welcome back again, Jen.
Well, thanks, Dave.
It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast. Now, Heather, can you hear when she does that? Because I can never hear her when she does it.
I can't understand. I don't know what she said. Why doesn't like me singing?
So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see Jen move her lips, but I don't know. You should just blast it in the microphone. If it goes too,
I
too much,
I did just blast it.
Yeah, see, we can't hear that. That's crazy. Maybe your voice is just too high. I don't know.
Maybe so. It's weird.
You know, I'm not sure, but welcome back to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. Jen's voice aside, we are here. Jen, of course, is back after her travels on the Norwegian Viva. Prima?
On the Viva.
Santa
on
Maria?
the Viva.
Viva, that's it. Okay, the Viva.
On the Viva.
So we'll get to Norwegian later on. Maybe another episode we'll talk about Norwegian. But we're going to talk about Epcot tonight. That, of course, leads us to our good friend, the quasi-producer of the show, a.k.a. the Moana Mom, Heather. Hi, Heather.
Hi, how are you guys?
Welcome back to the show.
Thanks. It's great to be back.
All right, so Heather, how did you Disney this week?
I went to Luminous, the Story of Us last night.
Oh, yay.
Ironically, that's what we're going to talk about on the show tonight.
Amazing.
That's fantastic.
So
amazing. Good. It's called good scheduling. I got you. Jen, how did you Disney this week?
So I actually Disneyed this weekend, over the weekend, we were doing some planning with friends. We were supposed to go in January. We decided to postpone it to March, but they had not seen the Disney 100 special Once Upon a Studio. So I pulled out my laptop and put up the Once Upon a Studio. It was also Brady's first viewing of it. Yeah, everyone's like sitting around the table crying. We're like,
so good.
It's such a good, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah,
I've seen that a couple of times since, and I'll randomly will pull it up and be like, I just want to see this. And what else can I catch? What else can I see? And it's like I see something new or something brand new in the background and whatever. So my lovely family, my beautiful wife, Steph, and my mother-in-law and my kid, Campbell, all came back from Disney World last night, went to the airport to get them, bring them home. And of course, I am one who I will throw the suitcase on the bed and immediately just start throwing everything when they need to go, like laundry put up. I mean, just everything, because I want to get the suitcases empty and being done. So I did lots of Disney stuff last night, holding up Disney shirts, going, "Oh, you bought this for Campbell? Oh, you bought this?" I'm like, "Did you buy yourself anything?" And she's like, "I bought myself one Spirit jersey, and the rest is all for the kid, because that's what happens when you have kids. You buy them everything, and you get one thing." And of course, today I was able to eat a Christmas tree Rice Krispie treat that was purchased from the Grand Floridian at the Gingerbread House, because she came home with a bag of snacks, and I'm like, "This is going to go well for my diet. This is awesome, very, very good." Very good. So let's hop into a bit of news here first. Now, Heather, I'm glad you're here because we want to talk about the Hatbox Ghost for it. It has finally made its appearance. The Hatbox Ghost is there at the Haunted Mansion, of course, at Disneyland. It's been fabled, and everybody loves the Hatbox Ghost, which is really almost like a zombie type monster character, not even a ghost, but he appears where he's got the lantern and his head kind of appears back and forth. Heather, you've seen the Hatbox Ghost. What are your impressions? Happy or tear? Yes, no, maybe?
He's my new best friend in the attraction. He's my new best friend. I love Halloween. I love that attraction. He's my new best friend. The only thing that I will say, which I think a lot of people were saying that have been to Disneyland, it's more in your face in Disneyland, because whenever you're at Disneyland and you see him, he's right as you're coming out of the attic before you go, like you fall out of the window, and he's like right there in your face. Whereas here, he's a little bit set back in that hallway. And I actually met my neighbors down there that day that it opened. And he said, well, it distracted me because then I didn't look at the candlestick in the hallway scene because I was too busy looking for him. But I think it was just because we were all excited to see him.
Like ready to, I mean, that's what,
he's my new favorite thing. He's my new best friend.
The good thing that I've heard about it is that, I mean, some people don't like the placement, but I've also heard where the placement is, you have more of a chance to look at him and view him as you pass by. Like in Disneyland, it's kind of you go by a little quicker than you would in Disney World. And the two of you can correct me if I'm wrong, but of course the question is, well, is he now the 1000th haunt? Because there's 999, but there's always room for more. What I've always heard is that he's not a happy haunt. He's a very grumbled, very grizzled, very angry haunt, a very haunting, scary haunt. So he doesn't count as the 999 happy cost. They're still only $9.99. That's what I've always heard. Somewhere that story's somewhere in there. Have you guys heard anything different? Do you know the official story of why he doesn't? I know he doesn't qualify as the $9.99, but I don't know if there's an official story as to why.
I thought that he didn't qualify because he was an original ghost that was in the attraction, but they didn't have the right Imagineering that would make his head appear and disappear, and that's why they pulled him out. Am I wrong, Jen?
So he was. I don't think you are wrong, because he's been part of the lore since the beginning of it.
Yeah, but they couldn't get it to work, and then that one Imagineer was like, "Let me take the original idea again, and let me figure out how to make it work."
Out. So yeah.
So does that mean all this time we only had 998 in the Haunted Mansion when he returned?
Maybe so. Well, he was there, and then he just took a little hiatus.
Heather, call Josh. Get him on the phone. If he's free, we'll get him on the podcast real quick.
Let me text him.
Now it's always fun to have Heather on because we know that she likes the park down the street. You're going this week? You're taking the girls this weekend to Universal.
Friday. Yeah.
That's going to be exciting, which is exciting for them because, of course, they love Harry Potter and, of course, Volcano Bay. You guys have been to that, which might be the best water park in Florida.
It is. It is.
It's a great water park.
Yeah. I would admit it.
It's a great water park.
So I bring it up only because we have Epic Universe, and I'm not going to mention on the show since Heather's here. I'm not going to say anything about how massive it's going to be and important, and that Disney needs to get on the ball. I'm not going to say any of that because Heather doesn't want to hear that. But I am going to say that the two newest hotels for Universal, and there's going to be several, but the two that they're opening first are Universal Stella Nova Resort and the Universal Terra Luna Resort. Now, these look like they're going to be either
they sound very outer space
prime value. They do. They're going to have that outer space kind of theme to it. They're kind of a like far out kind of theme, or what? Not far out the 70s, but far out like as in out there. But these hotels are going to come. They're going to come in around. The opening night rates are starting at around $212 to $215.
That sounds like
for
value.
Stella Nova. Terra Luna is going to be about $235, $240. They're each going to have 750 guest rooms. We don't know much more about that.
Yeah.
But we do know that I believe one of them opens up in January, one opens up in February of 2025. So yeah, Stella Nova opens up on January 21st, 2025. Terra Luna in February of 25. And reservations are available somewhere. If you go looking online, I would recommend you wait until you talk to your travel agent because we'll be able to kind of work the whole deal out versus just renting a room and hoping to get a ticket, because Epic Universe tickets are going to be pretty crazy. And as we get closer into 2024, we're going to be hearing more about that. So stay tuned.
Right, for sure.
Back where we belong, Disneyland After Dark events are going to be held in 2024, and they are increasing the amount of days. The Sweetheart Night celebrates the love all around us on 8 different nights in Disneyland. And I'm not going to run through the dates. Well, I mean, you can find them, but they're in January and February. You'll have a royal cavalcade of princesses and princes. Small World, you'll have a dance with the princesses. Will be over there. Stitch and Angel will host a dance party in Tomorrowland. You'll have photo backdrops with Lady and the Tramp, and there's going to be Rapunzel and Flynn and Aladdin and Jasmine and such. Fabulous lighting and all kinds of specialty menus. Of course, it's going to be food. It's going to be awesome. So there is some of that. Disney After Dark Disney Channel night is going to be happening in March for 2 nights, the 5th and the 7th. The High School Musical pep rally is going to take place because I know we all missed that from Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
Not a week goes by that Jen doesn't mention High School Musical, and not a week goes by that Heather doesn't mention Camp Rock, because Camp Rock karaoke will also be there. You'll see the Descendants. So for people who love the Descendants and they're like, we need more Descendants in the parks, this is a night for this. The Descendants will all be there. Lizzie McGuire, the Cheetah Girls, the Teen Beach Movie, they'll all be represented there. So that's all going to be there. They have Star Wars night in April and in May when all the Star Wars stuff is coming. Pride night will be happening in June. So Disneyland has all these different after dark theme nights, which is really awesome. And I kind of wish Disney World would do some of this. Like they had the Villains night a few years ago. I'd love to see them come back to something like that, which would be fantastic, especially if they listen to our podcast and take our suggestion to open up a Villains Park. I'm just saying, or Villains Land. Heather and I set it all out for them. All they have to do is listen to this, take notes, and they're like, okay, we're good. That's all. That's really all we need to do.
It's done.
Over in Epcot, which is where we're going to spend a lot of our time, the Candlelight Processional is happening. Neil Patrick Harris is going to be basically, from time of recording through the 8th, Marlee Matlin is coming in over the weekend, and Brendan Fraser will be there next week. Also for Christmas.
Are you going to go see NPH? Maybe.
I don't think I'm going to have time.
Dang it.
I mean, I could try to make time, but I don't think I'm gonna have time.
Have you been so far this year, or are you going to go sometime this year?
Yes, we can talk about that. I went to go see John Stamos at it last night.
Oh, that's right. You said that.
She
That's
just
right.
went to John Stamos.
And how was he?
Oh, he got emotional about it because it was like his last show, and he had like everybody, all the emotions. I love that show. It's so good. It's so good.
It's a great show.
And he did a shout out to Disney adults before he started, and it was awesome.
Good times. I've seen him. I've seen Paige O'Hara. No, Jodie Benson. I saw Jodie Benson. Which is she sings along with the choir, which was fantastic. I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're Jodie Benson. Why wouldn't you? I would sing all the time if I were Jodie Benson. Speaking of Christmas, the Christmas party, very Merry Christmas party in Magic Kingdom has one date left, the 12th of December. That's it. Everything else is sold out. Jollywood only has one date sold out, the 16th. You can still get tonight, which by the time you guys hear this, that will be last night, and the 18th and 20th. Do we think that the stink of the first night is still kind of holding over Jollywood somewhat? I mean, do we think it's, because I'm hearing a lot of people say they've gone back and they've loved it and the second time around, and we've spent countless minutes towards it, but do we think people just aren't over that first night yet?
Yes, and they are wrong. It is a tremendous party.
It's phenomenal. It is such a good party. Such a good party.
Ignore what you heard the first night. They fixed it and it's amazing.
Yes. If you can't make it this year, if you're one of those people that canceled your tickets or you moved it and you're like, you know what, I'm not going to go back, but before Christmas is over, I won't have a chance to go to another party next year. I'm hoping they'll have it next year. I think they will. And when they do, go ahead and get your tickets. And I would say that if they fixed what they fixed in a week, imagine what they'll do in a year when they have time to totally retool.
I will go again with bells on to that party. Like I loved it.
Well, Heather went with lights on, so yeah. I mean, you're going to have to have bells to top that. I mean,
maybe I'll get bells and lights. Ooh.
Bells and whistles, all the bells and all the whistles. Last thing here before we dive fully into Epcot, I'm excited because I've been lamenting about this for years on this podcast. How COVID and the pandemic robbed us of the chance to see Soul and Luca at the theaters, and yes, Turning Red too. Whatever. Those are Pixar movies, especially Soul. I feel like that's always been a movie that would be so great in surround sound and on a THX screen. They're coming to the theater for limited engagements. Soul is coming January the 12th, Turning Red February the 9th, and Luca March 22nd. So for your chance to see these three movies, which never went to theaters, they went directly to streaming because of COVID. They are going to be coming to theaters. Yeah. I will definitely see Soul. I probably will try to see Luca. I'll let others go see Turning Red and tell me how it is. But yes, Soul is. I'm excited about seeing this. Finally, excited about seeing it. Yesterday, as we record this, of course, was Walt's birthday. Walt turned 122 on his birthday. Happy birthday, Walt! Visionary, very creative. Just, I mean, we could spend an entire episode talking about Walt Disney himself. But they opened up the Dreamer statue. The walls came down in Epcot. I don't know if all the walls came down, but a lot of the walls came down in Epcot.
I'm so glad.
People are like confused because they don't know what they're so used to walking big loops around. And I may do that when they go to Epcot next time. Just walk a big loop.
I'm not going to know what to do.
Not sure what to do. Right. So Heather, you have been. Let's talk about the statue and talk about the gardens first. You went yesterday to see on like kind of the quote unquote grand opening. Let's talk a little bit about it. What your impressions? What are you thinking?
It is magnificent. I feel like we have been waiting for this to open forever. And it literally, David will probably tell you how many days it has been closed. I have no idea. It's been years.
It's been a lot of days. It's been a lot of days.
It was a little bit hard to know that like whenever you rounded that bend, you were just like in an open area there. But whenever you rounded the corner, and I will say that in the daytime, it's gorgeous. It's great. But at nighttime, it will bring you to tears. It will bring you to tears.
I cannot wait.
It is phenomenal. They had a line that was kind of wrapped whenever they opened Moana, how it wrapped kind of back towards Spaceship Earth. Yeah. So you're kind of behind the statues and you're behind a bunch of like shrubs so that nobody's in your picture whenever you're waiting in line for it. But like as people were walking up, there's just like tears just like falling because it's just a very moving experience. And I highly recommend you just sitting there at night for like a half hour, taking it all in because there's so much to take in. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. They have like these like glass sculptures that are like in that World Celebration Gardens. The ground lights up, it turns different colors that goes with like the Spaceship Earth show. It's amazing.
I've been ready for this forever. I cannot wait to see it in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
In 3 weeks.
It's amazing.
Well, what's exciting to me, and by the way, I do have your answer, Heather. Fountains of Nations, which is what I would say kind of started when the walls went up. They closed the Fountains of Nations. They put the walls up the day after. Closed in September of 2019. So this area has been walled off for 1,549 days. Yes, that's from September the 19th, I think, to yesterday. Over 1,500 days has been closed off.
Bananas.
Which is insane,
so crazy.
By the way.
It's
so
so
yeah,
crazy.
my kid was like 8 or 7 or whatever, and so now he's 12, which is insane.
And meanwhile, we're like, like year and a half.
Yeah, I know.
Just kidding. Thanks, COVID.
It's been a while. I'm excited about the lights on the floor, and it's one of those things for people who've been to Epcot for a long time.
You
walk through. And they had the fiber optic sidewalks, and you walk through, and they kind of twinkled and bright. It looked like stardust across the ground. It was great. Well, that close too, they took those out, and it was one of those where are they just taking things out just to take things out? What are they going to do? Stupid JPEG. I missed it so much. Well, I heard they were coming back, and I had no idea what form. And now I'm seeing the large light strips, and they light up, and they synchronize the Spaceship Earth. And I'm talking like I've seen it. You've seen it. How does that look? I mean, how impressive is it?
It's so impressive. And the seamless transition to like make it direct your eye, because then they have like, I don't even know what those things are. There's like these like pylon things that are like sticking out that kind of like encircle Spaceship Earth. It moves with the colors with those too. It's just, it's gorgeous.
And
we
it's
all
LED
know
lights, so they're bright and they're definitive, and they're not like fiber optic twinkly. I mean, it looks great. I'm excited.
It's awesome. In fact, Yael, who's like the Epcot super fan, I was like, this is breathtaking. Like it's going to take your breath away. For any Epcot fan alone, just bring your Kleenex.
No,
I'm ready.
Excited. Super excited. The statue itself, Walt the Dreamer, of course, they have him now on a little platform where he's sitting and he's looking. And again, as all three of us are, we're all three huge Walt Disney fans, as the person, as the man, as the creator, the imagination. So I'm excited about seeing the statue. And I know even when I go in March, there's going to be a line to see it. I get that. The statue itself, like I know I've seen like the day before it like officially opened, the bloggers, the influencers, they were taking pictures with the statue. Was that just for them, or is it now open for all? Like you can walk up, assuming there's not a line. Can you just walk up and sit beside Walt and take a picture? Will there be a rope? Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, they did not have a photographer there, which I was surprised that they didn't. But they like wrap around the back of it so you can wait in line to do it, so that you kind of how the partner statue, you know how like someone's always in the background of your picture, they prevented that from happening. So even if people are waiting in line, they are either in front of the statue where they're shooting at you, or you have your own picture with them. It's amazing. And people were like sitting, like putting their arm around him and then like pointing to like show him things. And it was stop, you're gonna make me cry. I can't.
That's gonna be great. I cannot wait to get my picture with Walt, get myself a good old-fashioned selfie with the statue, or like our team. When next time our team goes together in February or whenever, we all come together, take a picture around Walt. It's just gonna be great. It's gonna be like the only leader better than Jenn. It's Walt, and it's debatable, so it's going to be a great picture to take. It'll be awesome.
No, I cannot compare. I cannot be compared to Walt. Walt is
it's only because you haven't built a theme park, but you've built this team, which honestly, sometimes it's just as rowdy and chaotic. So I get it. The area itself, the gardens, they really leaned into the neighborhoods thing, and I'm still learning the neighborhoods. Eventually, we have to learn the neighborhoods, Jenn. It can't just be Future World and the land.
It's always Future World in my heart.
I'll get there.
It's World Celebration.
World Celebration. I did know that it's World Celebration, and World Nature is Moana.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always Downtown Disney in my heart, but it's Disney Springs, and we know this. So. You got to be official. Anyway, Heather, your impressions of the gardens themselves, the whole open area, and I've heard they're beautiful. The one criticism I've heard is that it's just like an open space. Like people are like, why can't we do more with this space than just an open space? Do you see some of that? What your impressions of the open garden area?
So here's the deal, and I think maybe people forgot about it. It is just an open space. Well, last night it was just filled with people. You were just trying to like get around it. There was no way that you were like taking photos without, like no different than David's background. There's like 5,000 people.
What's going to happen
behind it? It is just an open space, but there's like a section, like there's benches. There's just like these little like rocking chair, like looking things. And there's like tables and chairs. So back before this happened, whenever the fountain was there, it was just a big open space too. And people were just crossing to go to the neighborhoods. But now you have something to look at whenever you're crossing through, and at nighttime you have essentially like another show to see,
right,
that continuously runs all night long.
Yeah, I think people forget that too, is that there was a big fountain. It was a beautiful fountain of nations.
Yeah.
It was great. There was that, but there was also a little kiosk there, a little building that sold the pins. It had like a little
the pin
roof
selling,
thing, whatever.
yeah.
So the pin section thing was there, and there was like an ice cream cart, and that was it. So it wasn't like it was being used for a ride or something that was demolished.
The two side buildings had other things.
Yes,
Interventions,
east and west.
East and west. Yeah, but there was nothing else other than the fountain.
So, and you guys can answer this because I don't know. Is Epcot complete, or are there still walls up in areas? And
No,
because they have the Communicore building. You're right. They have so that's going to open up. We have like a festival building and some other fun stuff in there. So yeah,
the one opposite of Connections and all that.
Is still under walls.
Yeah. Which I mean, I saw a report. It was like delayed till 2024. I'm like, they're not going to finish it in the next 2 weeks. I mean, 2024 is literally like 25 days away. It's so
like January of 24. Like, come on.
It's been delayed and delayed again till January. I mean, whatever. So it'll be fine. So now let's talk a little bit about Luminous, the story of us. Big letter US, us. Story of us is the new fireworks show. I am a big fan of Illuminations. Harmonious was fine. I think the criticism of Harmonious was the barges. I think if you had the same show and could do it without all the barges in the middle, I think people would have taken to
or move the barges in and out,
or move the barges exactly, move Stargate out of the way. Epcot Forever we saw on the monsoon cruise and a couple weeks ago. So while that was great, it was like I'm drying off under a bridge. So part of that was hampered. Luminous, and I'm going to say Harmonious. I know I'm going to say Harmonious before the whole thing's out. Luminous, Heather, your take on Luminous, good, bad, compared to, I know you loved Harmonious. What is your take on Luminous?
Okay, so just preface, so nobody comes at me. I loved Harmonious, the show. The barges are what drove me insane.
Correct.
I think that's really what was the demise of that show.
Yep.
Just because it was an eyesore that was there all day long. With this show, with Luminous, the barges are coming in for the show and they're going out. So when you go there the next morning or you're there in the afternoon, you're not going to see them. I think I heard someone say like they're out by like 3 every day.
But that's how the Globe used to be for Illuminations.
Correct. So they took like note of the things from Illuminations to be like, okay, well, at a certain point, we're going to roll it out. So you're not going to get that epic shot of Spaceship Earth from across. This show, visually, fireworks, all the effects is on point. It is on point. It is a mix of a smaller version of World of Color meets the pay attention to how I word this, meets the symphonic emotional connection of Happily Ever After. Where the show, and it's my only critique, just because that symphony song, and I don't know what it is, maybe David knows, the song that they are playing whenever Spaceship Earth is having its little light show, and at the end, right before it like lights up, that song that plays, and it's I forget who the guy is that does it. They play that throughout parts of Luminous, and you are like connected to it. And I think whenever the narrator talks and whenever they throw the little Disney songs in, it takes you out of the moment a little bit. Because original song, just like Happily Ever After, the original song that is basically focusing on, I think they even say it like the unification of like human like connection. Is like you're in it. And then the narrator comes in and you like slow back. So it doesn't like crescendo and like decrescendo like up. And I think like that's my only critique is I was like, I didn't need the Frozen and the Coco. That at last I see the light when it projects on Spaceship Earth first before they like incorporate it into the fountains in the middle. That was great. But even that, I just needed that original song. There were people around that were like crying and like, oh my gosh, this is the show that we needed. But 2 things: do not stand in the American Pavilion because we were leaving from watching John Samos. The speakers were not on, so we could not hear. We were hearing an echo from Italy.
That's weird.
I know. And I don't know if someone just
That's
forgot to
weird.
turn them on, but the fireworks shoot out from America. So we're standing there and they're literally coming from our feet.
What?
And they're coming
That's
from
awesome.
all.
I love
like,
that's cool.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And so I will say that if you are going to watch it, before you would sit in between the two shops to watch the show, you're going to do the opposite now. You're going to watch it from anywhere in World Showcase Lagoon. I would say Italy and Japan are probably your best bets.
Okay.
To see it. You could probably watch it from America if they turn on the speakers. They did not have them on. I don't know why, but we could not hear anything. Everybody around us was telling us.
Can you see it 360? The
Yes.
reason I'm at, because, like with Stargate, you couldn't.
Yes. Right.
The only reason I'm saying to not stand in front of those shops is because you're not seeing Spaceship Earth is behind you, and that is a part of the show too. So they incorporated.
So you want to make sure you can see Spaceship Earth plus all. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
just because the lights are gonna go with it.
Right.
That's my only. It's a great show.
I'm excited for it.
At one point they do this like effect that's like this swirly thing, and like the fireworks are like going like this with all the fountains. They nailed it show wise. The original song, I love it. The symphony that plays, and even after you're done, that's the only thing that you hear. And I just like when Coco came on, and sorry I hit that. When Coco came on, and then what's the song from Toy Story?
You Got a Friend in Me?
No, it's a sad song. It's a
when she
that one comes on, and it's like, okay, because right before that they're talking like, and sometimes like you live part of your life alone. It's like essentially describing like how you live your lifetime, and they want you to connect to it. But then they talk about like you're living your life alone, and then that song comes on, and it's like, oh, okay. But I could have used, I know you're going to be surprised at me saying this. I didn't need the Disney IP songs to connect to that. I needed more of that original song.
More of the original song.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think
it's a tremendous show.
But like people connect with Illuminations, and there was no IP in that I remember.
And it told a story.
And
this original song tells
that became
a story.
IP. It became IP in and of itself.
But this narrator
I think that's
comes on
what
and
Disney,
slows it down.
One of the criticisms that Disney has had is they've been so heavy into IP into everything they do. And I watched Luminous before we started doing this. I just finished it before I sent the link to log on. It's a great show. The music is great. The narration is great. And I'm one of those, like, I'm fairly easy to please when it comes to fireworks shows. It's not like I'm going to be technical going, those fireworks, when they shot up over here, they didn't actually match the music over here. I'm not that. If you show me a fireworks show and don't give me the sound, I could not tell you, oh, that's Happily Ever After. I mean, or that's Tapestry of Nations. I couldn't tell you unless I saw something definitive, like a castle or whatever. So I'm not like, a fireworks expert on this. But what I did like about it was what Heather said. There was some IP, but it wasn't leaning into it. It wasn't like that's the show. It has to be IP.
Too much.
And that was my thing with our Harmonious. There's so much like
it was all
Disney
IP.
music, and I'm like, tell me a story, tell me something different. One of the problems I had, I think, with Enchanted was that I felt like it did not. Like I'm good with Epcot looking to the future. With Enchanted and Magic Kingdom, I wanted Epcot, like I wanted Magic Kingdom fireworks to be like a history. I wanted to hear more of the old stuff, and here they're giving me all this new stuff, and I'm like, no, it's not what I want. And so I like the music quite a bit. I thought it was really good, and the show looks good, and I think it's gonna be really good to watch in person. And what you said, Heather, about having more places to watch it and be okay by watching it is fantastic, because the moment you're in China or you're in, I guess UK and Epcot, and you're trying to watch the fireworks, and you're like, oh, all I see is a pole because I can't see anything in that circle. It's like that's a third of your audience out. So
that you couldn't watch.
It's
so
great.
I'm excited to see this new one. I think it'll be.
And if you're standing in front of that fence, make sure you're holding on, because those fireworks are coming up from your feet. It's great. It's great.
Yeah. Did you go ahead?
Go ahead. They have the song, the closing part of it talks about like your heart, and at the end, like right as they're like leading up to like the finale, they have heart-shaped fireworks that are
I love when they do that
360 on that thing. So it's hitting all parts of World Showcase, so you can see the hearts from everywhere.
I love it.
Yeah, I think this will be a show that will be around for a while, which I'm excited about. Did you get to listen to the new Epcot background music, the entrance music as you walk in? Because they replaced that entire soundtrack, and now it's new music all the way around.
I don't know that I paid attention to it when I came.
My heart still hurts because of this, honestly.
I miss this.
It hurts. It hurts me. I loved the old music.
I do miss it. I do miss it. Well,
I still play it. It's okay. I still play it on my iPhone.
You can find the background music. It's online now. It's on YouTube if you look it up. And if things go correctly, you'll be able to hear it in the background of the show today because I'm trying to get it. So we'll see. But it's not that, unfortunately, which is why I like to end the show with that music because it's just a reminder of how fun that music is. But yeah, it's one of those kind of things where it's like you notice if it's gone, but you don't really pay attention when it's there, I guess, with the background music. If you walk into Epcot, there's no music playing, or Magic Kingdom, no music playing. You're like,
that'd be weird.
Kind of weird, but it's there playing, and it just kind of blends into the background. And I mean, I like it. Okay, it's not as distinctive, I think, as what we're all used to. So, final impressions, Heather. I guess, great job, good job,
great
by
job.
Disney.
Good job. Think awesome. I mean, I hated Epcot forever. So great job. It's just that one minor thing that I just think that the narrator just slowed it down. If they would have it's right up there with Happily Ever After. That song is what hooks everybody. And then all the emotions. I just needed that whole song to play the whole time. And I needed it to play in the American Pavilion.
Yeah, that's just weird that they didn't have it. Like that's bizarre.
We could hear it echoing down from Italy, but that's about it.
Well, the soundtrack to this show, I believe, will be playing in on either Spotify or Apple streaming or something very, very soon. Apparently, they're trying to get it up and trying to get it going, so you'll be able to download the soundtrack. And I'm actually trying to pull it up now. The Journey of Water is already up on music, so you can listen to that. Harmonious is up, and World Showcase music, but nothing about Luminous just yet. But I will keep watching for that because I would probably like to download the soundtrack because I'm a nerd when it comes to stuff like that. So, yeah.
I will say,
Heather Winston. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Brady did just do Journey of Water for the first time. So
did he love it?
He did. He thought it was really fun. I just had to mention that for Heather that, he liked it. He really did. Nice. He had fun playing with the water.
Did you see it in the day or the nighttime?
It was daytime. It wasn't nighttime yet. Yeah.
It's gorgeous at night.
I have not been at night. So I'll do it at night this next trip in January.
I think that will be like my new thing when I'm not watching like Happily Ever After. I think I'm just going to go down to Epcot at night and just walk through World Celebration and Journey of Water, just continuously. Yeah. Just keep going back and forth.
Until the fireworks start, and then go watch the fireworks and then come back.
Yeah.
So, did you notice, and I don't know if this is working or not, but did you notice the Spaceship Earth was, the Spaceship Earth lights go on while the fireworks are going on? Like, it's something, if you're standing on the bridge, can you look back and forth and see the fireworks? Oh, Spaceship Earth, and just kind of have a show on both sides.
It like works together. It like works together. So it's like dark, but then it like lights up at certain parts.
I'd be interested.
But if you were down at because there was like a ton of people that were waiting to wait in the quote unquote normal space. They were missing it.
Okay. I guess we'll just have to go and see it a couple of times. See it from Spaceship Earth and see it down by the lagoon and all that good stuff. Jen, when's the next time you're going back to the parks?
I will be there December 29th through January 3rd.
Nice. I'll be there in February for the half marathon with the team. And Heather, I guess I would ask you the same question, but you'll be looking at your watch going, 5:00, 5:30. I'll be there. I love that you're so close.
Time, I will go back down on Thursday to just kind of see it again without all the crazy people, but I don't know that I'm gonna have time.
Let me know if you find Figment ears. That's the one thing Steph didn't get. She wanted to get, but she couldn't find them because that would be a great final Christmas present for her. Because now I'm pretty much done with her Christmas presents. So it's
she's the sweetest.
She's pretty great. She's pretty great.
So
sweetest. I think it's a good place to stop now that we have our Epcot in review, and Jen, of course, can give her thoughts on it. And we'll just play this episode back, and you can just pitch in.
I'll be like, I really like that, or this was great.
Exactly, it'd be a lot easier. So, Heather, where can we find you online?
You can find me at the Moana Mom on Instagram and Facebook.
And Jen, where can we find you on the World Wide Webs?
At Upon a Star Jen, or my personal Instagram is Jen_Novotny.
Perfect. Find me on Instagram at the Magic on $1. Find me on Facebook and at Magic on $1 and Disney on $1 on both places. Just follow me on all the stuff. And of course, we are Upon a Star Travel. We are a full service travel agency, not just Disney, but Heather, close your ears. Universal. Also Disney Cruise Line and Heather, close your ears. Royal Caribbean. And other cruises as well. We do other stuff as well.
Norwegian, sandals,
we do stuff all
beaches,
over the world. Sandals,
all sorts of
all-inclusives.
Europe.
Basically, if you want to go there, we'll get you there. And if we can't, somebody in this team will, because that's just what we do. So definitely let us know. info@uponastartravel.com. That's our email address. We're happy to help in all the places. And of course, find the show, the MSC podcast on all the places as well. Heather, thank you for joining us. This has been a good little conversation.
Thank you for having me. I'll be on the next time there's something new.
Perfect. And until then, we have a guest star. We'll have on Kyla. She'll come on and chat about Disney Springs or whatever until we have something new, which we'll bring Heather back on. So for Jenn, for Heather, I'm Dave. And hey, don't forget to thank your Phoenicians.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.